Step 2 in your GIS project workflow is gathering data. In classes, much if not all of the data you need is provided for you. But what happens when you need to find the data for yourself? Hopefully, this video will help you answer that question. There is a tremendous range in the types of data used for GIS analysis. This variety reflects the varied goals of the systems themselves. Since GIS may be used for applications like archaeological analysis, marketing research, and urban planning, the source materials can be difficult to inventory and classify comprehensively. Even within a single GIS project, the range of materials employed can be daunting. Although the types of materials will vary greatly from project to project, GIS practitioners should be aware of some of the most commonly available data sources. These are materials collected and published by a number of government agencies and commercial businesses and are quite widely used. Even if the sources fall outside the scope of your project, it is worth learning a bit about their characteristics and limitations. Local, state, and federal government agencies are major suppliers of data. However, a good deal of detective work is sometimes required. This is perhaps less the case at the federal level, if only because certain key agencies such as the Bureau of Census, United States Geological Survey, Soil Conservation Service, NASA, and Federal Emergency Management Agency provide standard sorts of information for the entire nation. The acquisition of data from state and local providers can take more time and skill. Some states, such as Florida, has established central clearinghouses for data. Other state information sources might be found through the Library of Congress's State and Local Governments Index. Clearinghouses are an important step in acquiring data, but they will rarely have everything you need. In many cases, the most effective clearinghouses provide indices to data held by other agencies. Not necessarily the data itself, they simply point you to the appropriate resource. You then have to contact the source yourself. The real problem at the local and state level is that government agencies organize themselves and their data in very different ways from place to place. Because states and cities vary so greatly in their systems of organization, it sometimes takes time to discover which agency holds the information you want. In some cases, states and cities are required to collect certain types of information to comply with federal and state regulations. But again, the agencies that actually compile this information may vary from place to place. This means that finding information at the local and state levels can be time-consuming and may involve making several phone calls, writing letters, asking questions, and visiting the agencies in person. Do not expect the data to be available in standard formats. Get to know the providers in your area by developing contacts at the agencies with which you work. Local governments, cities, counties, etc., also gather and provide information, but less is presently available on the internet and coverage varies widely. Data from government agencies may or may not come with adequate documentation and data quality reports. You may have to check the data or inquire how and why it was compiled. One virtue of searching for information from government agencies is that most is in the public record and can be used for free. Sometimes a small transfer cost is charged. At the state and local levels, however, you should always confirm that the information you gather is free of copyright restrictions. You may want to publish or sell the data you use, and copyright restrictions often exist specifically for such uses. Private data. There are many private sources of information. Commercial map-making firms are among the largest providers, but other firms have supplied detailed demographic and economic information, such as data on retail trade and marketing trends. Private data can usually be quite expensive to purchase, and there may be restrictions to the use of commercially provided data. Gathering data can be the most time-consuming, and good GIS data is at the heart of good GIS analysis. Let's go back to our healthcare facility example. What kind of data would be useful in this scenario? Well, hospitals, including traditional hospitals as well as other medical facilities, zip codes, census tracts, counties, states, and road networks. And that's just scratching the surface. For each data set you gather, you should preview the features, attributes, and metadata to determine whether the data will be useful for your analysis and what kind of preparation, if any, may be required. Project data doesn't have to be all in the same format, but it can make things easier. Decide what data format you're going to use. Organize data into a project folder that can simplify analysis tasks and facilitate sharing your work with others. Copy or import geodatabase feature classes into a single file-based geodatabase. Create separate folders or geodatabases to store intermediate or temporary data output from analysis operations as well as final data. Extracting data to have the same extent as the study area helps speed up processing time and enhances data visualization. The important thing is to verify that the analysis tools you need accept your data format. Also consider whether you will be distributing the data created by the analysis.